So let's get started. This is a session in which I put the idea forward to Nelly in a session called Explaining YouTube Youth Culture to Grown-Ups. I hope that doesn't assume that that the teachers, all of you that are taking part in this, don't know about YouTube youth culture. It was kind of a bit of a joke, really, but it is a subject which is very close to my heart. You see, because I am a teenager myself, in my early 40s, so I do feel that I've got some authority in this. I'm a bit of a YouTube addict. I've said this before. I've said that I'm a YouTube potato. So I would like to just. But it's in two parts. This webinar. It's in two parts, and at any time, please feel free to just type in questions into this chat box, and I'll be looking out for them and answering them as we go along. So it's the two parts are. The first part are just a couple of case studies, just trying to show you what sort of things are happening on YouTube right now, as opposed to, let's say, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, because YouTube's been changing a lot. So what's happening right now? And I've also got two activities for you. So the two activities will be at the end. Let me just tell you a quick story. When I was a young lad, so much younger than today, I got into trouble with the police for I should say I think I was about eight years old, for climbing one of these. This was not the one. This is just a random crane, an image of a crane that I found on Google image search. But I got into trouble with the police for climbing one of these, you see. But it wasn't my fault. It was my friend Bob's fault, because he was a very persuasive friend of mine, and he was a bad influence. And I got into trouble with the police, and they told my parents, got into trouble with my parents. They couldn't believe I'd done such a stupid thing. And to this day, they still won't let me see Bob. Imagine, the age of 43, still not allowed to see Bob. And I sometimes wonder how he is these days. He's not here today, is he? I don't see his name. Anyway, I'd like to introduce you to two young men here, Vitaly and Vadim. The girl you can see here, I don't know what her name is, she's a mystery girl, but the two young men you can see here are called Vitaly and Vadim. They're two young Russians, and right now they are at the bottom of a bridge, specifically the Moscow Bridge, which is not in Moscow. Do you know where the Moscow Bridge is? The Moscow Bridge in this picture is actually in Kiev, and this is a screen capture from a video which was made in 2011. And basically what these three young people did was to climb up the bridge. What they did was they crawled up the support cables. You can see them just getting started there. They crawled up the support cables. It took them about 10 minutes to get to the top. Bridge is 119 meters high, and they filmed it. They filmed this stunt. They put it onto YouTube. It went viral, and Vitaly and Vadim became internet celebrities. It's a kind of standard everyday YouTube story, isn't it? And Nelly wouldn't want her kids to do that, and I don't think any of us would want our kids to do that. Indeed, our parents do either, or ourselves. I've learned an important lesson already. I told this story before, and I actually showed an excerpt from the video, and 3 people had to walk out of the room because it's incredible the sense of vertigo you can get from just a video alone. So I'm not going to play any videos in which you see this, but it's actually a very, very tense little piece of footage, and you can find it for yourselves, because the two, Vitaly and Vadim, these two young Russian guys, they call themselves On the Roofs. Not roofs, but roofs. I'm typing that into the chat. That's what they call themselves. So not now, but later, if you want to go and explore them and find this video, you can do so. So the thing is, building on the success of this video, what these two lads did, they started to make more videos, and they have become a kind of an increasing group of young people who have discovered and mastered principles of filmmaking, and not just discovered them and mastered them, but actually reinvented them. Now, what they did next, you see, is they went to Hong Kong, and they started to make more videos of doing similar stunts, climbing to the top of man-made structures. In this case, they went to Hong Kong, not to climb a bridge, but to climb a skyscraper. And things get a bit different here, because for the first video that I've not shown you, but you can watch if you like, and Chris said you wouldn't be able to watch the video, so just as well I'm not showing it to you. If you were to compare the videos, you would see that the first one was capturing a stunt. This second video, on the other hand, is actually telling a story. So when they climbed the bridge, in fact, it was just one single video camera. It was a 12-minute video. It was completely unedited, a single shot. The only audio you could hear was this incredibly tense, heavy breathing that came from the nervousness of whichever one of the two lads it was that was wearing the video camera on his head. So it was just video to capture a stunt. But here, as we said, the video techniques and tools and editing that they use tell a story. I'm not sure how old they are, Nelly, but I guess they're maybe 21 or 22 years old, maybe a little bit older than that. So in this second video that they made, and actually this is not the second video they made, I think this is possibly the fourth video that they made, the one that they did in Hong Kong. You can see that they tell a story. They build things up slowly, you see. We're introduced to the place, we're introduced to Hong Kong. You can see there's a picture of a cat. You can see the two boys are walking around in their hoodies. There's a girl holding a football. We meet the people, we see the food. They start to compose their shots. They make things kind of aesthetics. All of this is accompanied to music, and often the shots switch between or cut between different shots and time to the music, which is a very standard filmmaking device. They use lots of different equipment, lots of different POVs. I don't know if you know what POV stands for in the world of filmmaking. It stands for point of view. So different points of view from the filmmakers themselves, using video cameras attached to their heads. Also points of view here, one on the top left hand, it's on a train. The top right, the video camera is actually positioned in a taxi. What happens next is the two boys walk into the lift, or rather they walk in through the front door of the skyscraper that they're about to climb. This is all completely illegal, I have to say. They call the lift, and suddenly a shot to what's waiting for them above. And this looks almost kind of professional at this stage. In fact, the video you could not call it anything but a professional video. Look at these shots. Do you know how they were shot? How would an amateur create two shots like this? Chris has said a selfie stick. Chris, if you were going to use a selfie stick like this, I think it would probably have to be about 50 meters long. But I like that idea. They used drones. Do you know these remote control little helicopters which have video cameras attached to them? So what we've got happening here is incredibly fantastic filmmaking techniques. And then you see, so this is the two lads, they enter the lift here, suddenly shot up to what's awaiting for them, and then it's back to the lift. So they're using non-chronological storytelling devices. This is from from the first video that I described, a single unedited shot, compared to this next one when they're on top of the roof, and just to give you a little taste for what you see, and this is absolutely nothing compared to the vertigo that you would see if you watch their whole videos. You might be sick if you're that kind of way if you're that way inclined. And what strikes me about this whole thing is, in one word, it's evolution. Evolution of filmmaking techniques and abilities, which come down to mastering the equipment, mastering the editing, watching other people's work, copying it, and evolving it, and making use of the equipment and technology that we have. Drones, for example, GoPro videos, for example, and a lot of this comes, of course, down to collaboration. But the one important word here is evolution, and this is what happens, and this is what is happening. The thing is about these guys, I mean, when I did my stunt, when I climbed up my crane with Bob, you know, I got grounded by my parents. I think I got a clip around the ear, told how stupid I was. But I wonder what Vitaly and Vladim's parents would say to them. I don't think they could persuade them to stop doing what they do, but for a very good reason, that they're very, very savvy. I mean, you know, you've got these two young lads here. They call themselves Off the Roofs. They've got a very well-maintained YouTube channel. You might think they're foolish and irresponsible, but they're actually very shrewd, savvy, and successful. They're YouTube entrepreneurs. Their videos have been viewed over 60 million times. They earn money through the YouTube Partnership Program, and they make money through merchandising. And you can see from this screenshot of their website that they even have sponsorship. The North Face, Vans shoes, filmmaking equipment here. So how could their parents persuade them to stop doing what they actually do? I have no idea. But this is a very interesting case study for how my personal experience of a silly thing I did compared to how it's turned into a way of life now. And by the way, I'm not condoning this sort of thing, and I'm certainly not saying to you teachers that this is what we should be using in the classroom. I just think it's a very interesting case study. I'm not sure how many subscribers they have, Nelly, but we could find out very, very quickly if I go to YouTube and type in Off the Roof. Sorry, I should say On the Roof, so I'll be able to tell you instantly. They have 395,000 subscribers, which in fact is not particularly impressive by some standards. So you've got these two guys risking their lives making beautiful videos, and they've only actually got 400,000 subscribers. If we look at some other case studies of some other people who are making money on YouTube and dedicating their lives to it, and we're talking young people here because it really is a young person's platform, and that's what we're looking at here. We have this is Emma. This is the daughter of a good friend of mine, and Emma's 8 years old, and she's showing in this picture. She's showing us a picture of her favorite YouTuber. Can anyone name that YouTuber? This YouTuber calls himself Crazy. Chris is typing. Let's see if he knows. He is Russian. He calls himself Crazy Russian Hacker. And he's a very likable character. He's got 5 million subscribers. And he creates videos in which he demonstrates life hacks. Who knows what a life hack is? This is me testing you, finding out really how good your knowledge of YouTube youth culture is. Do you know what a life hack is? I asked Emma if she could. Nelly, you learned how to clean your toilet and peel potatoes from this guy, did you? Yeah. Vola, you've said it's a simple and unexpected solution to something. I asked Emma to describe what a life hack is, Emma, the girl in the photograph. And life hack, it comes from YouTube show and tell culture. Emma describes it as something that you do to solve problems and make boring things fun. And Crazy Russian Hacker does this with humor and style. He's got a very strong Russian accent, but it's very intelligible as well. So in this video here, he's demonstrating how to make an ice bath in the summertime for your husky dog, because huskies have got thick fur and they get very, very hot. And he's a young guy. He's in his early 20s. So and as you can see, he's got 5.5 million subscribers. And you ask yourself, why does a girl who's 8 years old, why is she so obsessed with this young Russian YouTuber? And genuinely, she really does enjoy watching the life hacks, learning about the things that his tips for life. But I mean, I would also speculate that we're just human beings. We're fascinated by other human beings, by other individuals, by personalities, and YouTube is all about that. It's all about humans, and really what we're looking at today is that very thing: young people expressing themselves on this platform that we're calling YouTube. There's so much. Look at some of these cultures that have come through. Who knows this guy? Now, I'd be surprised if you don't know him. This is a test. Who can name this? Oh, you can see his name's right there. This is PewDiePie. Now, PewDiePie is an obvious place to start because PewDiePie is he has the most subscribed YouTube channel on the whole of YouTube. He has almost 40 million subscribers. And what PewDiePie does with a lot of humor is he makes gaming videos. So here he is demonstrating a game. Do you know this? Does anyone know this game? It's a great game. Through watching PewDiePie's videos, I got really addicted to this game. It's a fantastic game. It's not a soccer. It's soccer. I'll type it into the window here, and you can go and find it later. It's called agar, which, if anyone is a biologist, they'll know there's petri dish gel. Agario. Agar.io. So it's called Agario, and it's a great fun game. You've got to eat each other, and you play other people in random places on the line. So give that a go later. And PewDiePie is, as I said, is a very obvious place to begin because PewDiePie is the most subscribed YouTuber, and he makes videos every day, and it's a hugely time-consuming process making a video. It takes a huge amount of dedication. But if you get to where PewDiePie is with his number of subscribers, you're actually going to make a very, very healthy living off it. It recently got out in the media how much PewDiePie is worth, and a lot of his fans felt quite upset by that. But then you ask yourself the question, why should somebody like PewDiePie that puts the time and effort into YouTube be paid any less than, let's say, a Hollywood actor? And so if you can get to this stage, it's going to be worth the money. But let's look at some more things, other types of cultures that have evolved from YouTube. Here's some beauty hacks. Now, if I'd been doing this webinar maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have been talking about instructional videos. But instructional videos, people don't talk about instructional videos anymore. If you're talking about videos in which girls demonstrate fashion and beauty, they don't call them instructional videos. It's just so passé. That sounds like a grandmother, how they would refer to it. Beauty hacks. We're talking about style videos here. We're talking about fashion videos here. And young girls have completely taken this by storm. Now look at these. These will be people that I would suspect none of you will have heard of, purely for the reason that none of you are in your teens. This girl has got 440, almost 500,000 subscribers. She demonstrates beauty, makeup on her YouTube channel. She makes videos every day, maybe a couple of times a week, and this is her channel. We've also got so much diversity. Here's a girl called Jackie Wears who's got 370,000 subscribers. In this video, she shows her subscribers how to make yourself or style yourself to look like Bridget Bardot. And the important thing is that they have to be consistent. They have to create these videos consistently, and they interact with their subscribers through the likes of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube comments. So it's very, very interactive. So consistency and interaction, and also, whereas YouTube maybe a few years ago, the videos were often very amateurish. As we've already mentioned, young people are really discovering and already have discovered and reinvented these new kind of ways of creating videos, and it's very important now. You don't really get away anymore. You can't just put out amateurish content anymore and have people interested. It now has to be of a professional standard. Have you heard of haul videos? A haul is what a fisherman or a fisherwoman would go out to sea and bring back. Your haul would be your catch of the day. And this is a culture where again, it's usually girls. They go out shopping and they bring back what they've bought, and they show it to the camera. And you might ask me at this stage, Jamie, as a 43-year-old man, why are you aware of all these videos? I've got a consultant. I've got a friend called Fiona who studies fashion and style, and she's very, very big in this kind of thing. And she helped me in this. She was able to supply me with a kind of across the board number of case studies. Here's a girl called Alex, again, 350 subscribers, and this is a type of video. This is a genre. These are called get ready videos. Get ready with me is the kind of genre in which these style, fashion, young women make videos, and they show you often their daily routines, and often of course involves getting dressed, having breakfast, what to wear, etc., etc. Are any of you thinking at this stage that it's maybe a little bit kind of irrelevant and maybe a little bit slightly banal, let's say? Nelly, you said you got 2,000 subscribers on your channel. Well, can you put in your channel URL so we can have it? You see, I think what's what's happening here. Here's another one. This is mobile phones have become the most important objects in a general way to human beings. So there's no coincidence that another type of video that people make is videos about their mobile phones, about the aesthetics of it and what the apps they use it and how to use it. Room tours of your flat. Now, if you are of the persuasion that you think that maybe this is all very irrelevant and sort of distracts from the important things in life, don't forget we're dealing with teenagers here. You'd have to ask yourself the question, what were you doing as a teenager? And even so, this type of culture is starting to have effect on the sales of fashion and style magazines, which were the traditional modes of delivery of this type of thing. This is a girl that tells us how to recreate a Starbucks drink without actually having to go to Starbucks. And so in this department, it tends to be young women that are really leading the way, and they are becoming incredibly successful. A lot of them collaborate with beauty products and the chains and outlets, street outlets and fashion, and they make a lot of money. And this is what's happening. And some of these videos could be used in the classroom you know, the one where you've got the girls showing you their get ready with, where they have their daily routines. I mean, we've been using videos like that for ages, and I think it's quite if you can become aware of some of these YouTubers, it can be quite good to also introduce your students to some of them, and they probably know them already, but it's a great way for them to keep in touch with people that are using English and follow them as a great source of input. So, is everybody happy? Yeah, Chris says the big advertisers must be getting worried. I don't know if they are, Chris. I think the big advertisers see this as a. Oh, sorry. Yes, the big advertisers possibly. Yes. I think maybe you're right, because this is often where, depending what your product is, this is where it's often done. But in fact, you find all these very unpredictable collaborations between YouTubers and advertisers, and of course products. Anyway, that's just a few case studies. That's where we are. I think that's what's happening with the world of YouTube. It's a platform. It's a medium that young people have claimed and have learned and are reinventing. So I've got a few activities. I've got 3 activities for you which make use of videos that have been created, or video culture of young people, which could be used for students to kind of become aware of what's going on in their own worlds, and introducing them to YouTubers to subscribe to. Oh, I forgot this one. Food is a big one. It's all about lifestyle. So this is a YouTuber. Again, the 300,000 subscribers seems to be quite an important mark. And travel diaries. Travel diaries is a great one. This is Tenny, who's got 800,000 subscribers. Okay, let's move on to a couple of activities, as I said. Let me start by telling you a story. And this story involves a wannabe YouTuber and a Carolina Reaper. Now, I forbid you to Google a Carolina Reaper. Don't even think about it. You're not allowed to do that. That's completely cheating. But you have to guess what a Carolina Reaper is, and I suspect that none of you know. I'm going to guess. I'm going to hope that none of you know. Guess what a Carolina Reaper is. Type it in the text box. And if you type in the right answer, I'm going to assume you've been on Google, and I'm going to have words with you. So the task here is for your students to guess what a Carolina Reaper is, and they can ask the teacher questions, closed questions, yes and no questions. You give them 12 questions to guess what a Carolina Reaper is. And a Carolina Reaper, yes, is something that you eat. Also, a Carolina Reaper is in the Guinness Book of Records. That's a clue. So you can tell your students that, and then that gives them a reason to come out with structures involving superlatives. Is it the longest sausage in the world, for example? Is it a kind of pizza, the most expensive pizza? Any ideas what a Carolina Reaper is and why it could be in the Guinness Book of Records? This word wannabe, perhaps, I don't know, but maybe it's a new word to some of you. It comes from, it's a kind of a contraction of want to be, but we use it as an adjective, a wannabe. If you want, a wannabe rock star. Emma, the little girl that, the 8-year-old girl who's the daughter of the friend of mine that I mentioned, she's a wannabe YouTuber. And she finds imaginary video cameras and dances in front of them to her imaginary 350,000 subscribers. So what is a Carolina Reaper? And why do you think it's in the Guinness Book of Records? It's an object. It's a record for cutting the most amount of corn in the quickest time. Francis, I like your thinking here. But actually, a Carolina Reaper is specifically something that you eat. It's an object. So it's not an act, it's an object. Ah, Francis says. So my example was the longest sausage in the world. Would you like me to tell you? Shall I tell you? Shall I tell you? Would you like me to tell you? Shall I tell you? I always do this when I'm telling my students stories. I always say, shall I tell you? Objects in a blender. I'll go on then. Okay. A Carolina Reaper is the hottest what? The hottest chili pepper in the world. So, this story involves a wannabe YouTuber and a Carolina Reaper. And I don't think I even need to tell you the story. I would hope that you could imagine what the story is. And if you're a group of 16 students, I'm sure that at least one of you would be able to guess what happens in this story. Exactly, someone eats one. Chris, who eats one? And why? It wasn't a competition. It was only involving a single Carolina Reaper, a teen who wants to be famous. Okay, Volha. Sorry if am I pronouncing your name correctly, Volha? So basically, this wannabe YouTuber wasn't actually a teen Volga. Volga. The wannabe YouTuber was 9 years old, and he shares something in common with me. He's Scottish. Now, I want you to guess how many subscribers this wannabe YouTuber had. This is again, it's a total game of guessing. It's a guessing game from students to teacher. But in fact, it's a story negotiation. 400,000, absolutely not. That's far too high, Francis. Remember, this is a wannabe YouTuber. This is somebody who wants to be a YouTuber. Volga said 100,000. No, much less than that, or much fewer. Valerie said 400. Oh no, much fewer than that. Nelly said 1 more. Zimmerl said 120 less. Beatrice said 3. Francis is 3. I'll tell you. This young Scottish, this 9-year-old Scottish boy had exactly 8 subscribers. And what he did was he made a video in which he ate a Carolina Reaper. And here he is. Can you see that? And this video got over 3 million views. Would you like to see the video? Shall I show it to you? Alright, I'm going to put the video in the link. I want you to watch this video and then come back, okay? Watch the video. Can you all see that? It's 1 minute 19 seconds long. Does he survive? He does survive. Watch the video, then come back, okay? Now, if you've watched the video, tell me. Let me know in the box. What did you think of that then? Why? Poor boy. And what you've got to remember here is this was his own decision, and it was his own decision to do this. You see, and even once he'd done it, he still decided to put the video on YouTube. And then the next part of this activity is you ask your students to write questions that they would ask this boy, questions about his experience. So students might decide to ask him how he felt, what happened next. For example, were you happy that you did it? How did it feel? The chili pepper, where did you get the chili pepper? Because they're very difficult to get, you know. Would you do it again if you could? Did you throw up? Did you go to the hospital? And virtually all the questions that you could actually ask about this are answered in a second video that he made, in which he answers all these questions. So he tells us that his throat was on fire, that his stomach, he says that his stomach felt like Satan was burning it, and he was sick. 2 hours later they phoned the hospital. The hospital told him to to drink milk. He said that it was a terrible, terrible time when he had to go to the toilet the next day, and he got the chili pepper from Amazon. It cost £3.50. And to the question, would you do it again? He said absolutely yes, because at the end of the day he was absolutely thrilled to get a video that was viewed 3 million times, and his number of subscribers was raised from 8 to 4,000. So it's quite a good story, I think, and it's quite a funny story as well. And there's issues to discuss here. There's a lot we could talk about this. Let me push you through. What was this Chris has said? It was actually his granddad that was there in the background. What will he do next? Yeah, that's the question, Chris. You see, because he only, despite getting 3 million views, he only got 4,000 subscribers, because people kind of, young YouTubers know a one-off when they see it. They see this as a kid who's created a one-off video of eating a chili pepper. He's not creating consistently good content, so there's not much point in following him. That's the kind of thinking. Yet he's still very, very happy to have got 4,000 subscribers. So that's why he's that, and it's an interesting story, as we said. Let me give you another quick activity. You might know this one. I'll go through this one very fast in case you do. This is a situation I give my students. I ask them to imagine this scenario. It involves 2 young men at work. Their names are Gavin and Daniel, and they're sitting at a small round table, and they've got their arms in front of them like this. They're sitting opposite each other, but they've got their eyes tightly shut, just like this. And you have to ask your students why they have their eyes tightly shut and what they do for a living. You can keep repeating the situation. 2 young men at work. Their names are Gavin and Daniel. Daniel and Gavin are sitting at a small round table. They're sitting opposite each other. They've got their arms out in front of them like this. They've got their eyes tightly shut. Why do they have their eyes tightly shut, and what do you think they do for a living? Students sometimes say maybe they're tasting wine, maybe they're wine tasters, maybe they're trying to contact the dead. You continue from there on, used to practicing telepathy. There's a very good reason why they've got their eyes tightly shut. You see, above the table, in the space between them, there are thousands, possibly millions of pieces of red flesh and green shell and drops of juice. You see, this is the exact moment at which the watermelon exploded. And the question then for your students is, what did Gavin and Daniel do to cause the watermelon to explode? And there's all sorts of things here. Why did the watermelon explode? Maybe they dropped it from a great height, to which you'd say, wouldn't that be a little bit dangerous? Perhaps they were pushing their arms out because they're so strong they made it explode. And could you do that to watermelon? Maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. Maybe they used explosives. That'd be quite dangerous, but maybe they did. Give your students a clue. Sylvia said they did this, students, and how did it go down with you, Sylvia? Did it work? Give your students a clue. Tell them they use 500 identical objects, 500 identical everyday objects which you could buy in a stationery shop. And then you ask your students to draw this picture, you see. This is my dad. My dad did this because he's an architect and he's quite good at drawing. He used an app on his iPad to do this. And then you go show the students the acronyms here. Don't let them write anything yet, but go back through the text. This are 2 young men at work sitting at a small round table. Gavin on the left and Daniel on the right, sitting opposite each other, arms out in front of them, eyes tightly shut. Why are their eyes tightly shut? Because above the table, ATT, in the space between them, ITSBT, there are thousands of chunks, or pieces, as I said. It should PORF, pieces of red flesh, green shell, and drops of juice. And then students have got to try to recall, and remember, and write down all of those phrases and add them to their pictures. And that's the record of the language. So there's lots of noun phrases, or sorry, I should say prepositional phrases here for them to take a record of. And then you move on to the video. Students don't know what they did yet, but you give them the video so they can watch these two young men, Gavin and Daniel, at work. Would you like to see them? I'll give you the video. I'm going to give you the video here in the chat, but only watch the first minute and a half and then come back, because it's 4 minutes long. We don't have time, so watch the first minute and a half and then come back. And when you come back, say that you've seen it, okay? Come back and say hello once you've watched a minute and a half of the video, all right? Did you like that? So that's the slow-mo guys. They're very well established on YouTube. 3.5 million subscribers. They've been going for quite a long time. Again, young men, entrepreneurs, make a living from doing this. They've invested money in some very expensive, is it 6 million now? I must have taken a screen capture a while ago. They invested money in some very expensive high-speed video recording equipment, and you've maybe seen them before because they're very, very well known. I think this serves as an interesting case study. Any of these videos serve as case studies for how young people are making a living from YouTube, how we could call them YouTube entrepreneurs, and what the possibilities are. Francis asked if there's going to be links to these. I'll mention that at the end, Francis. Yes, there will be. Okay, one more activity. I want to introduce you to a YouTuber that I have discovered recently. Again, YouTubers, the word people use. We don't call them video bloggers so much. We call them YouTubers. If you want to be cool, YouTuber's the word. So has anyone seen this? This girl, she's 26 now, but she was considerably younger when she made this. A lot of the people we're looking at are considerably older than when they started out as YouTubers. This girl calls herself Heart, and she describes herself as coming from the lesbian side of the LGBT community, lesbian, gay, bi, and transsexual community. So Heart describes herself as coming from the lesbian side of the LGBT community. And Heart is sick and tired of a question that she gets asked all the time. Can you take a look at her and try and predict what this young lesbian woman gets asked all the time? What is that question that she gets asked which drives her crazy? Would anyone like to guess? And don't be shy. These are the questions that you put to your students, and this is exactly the kind of I have not worked with teenagers for a while, for a couple of months, but next time I'll definitely be doing that. Why do you do that to your hair? Beatrice says. That could be the question. Could be the question. I wonder if anybody's thinking of what the question is, but is feeling too shy to say it. Are you a girl? Says Chris. Could be the sort of question that she gets asked. Chris, this is along the lines of the questions that she gets asked. Volga, how many subscribers do you have? It's much more personal than that. Why don't you feel attracted to men? Yeah, there's a lot of questions that gay men and gay women will get asked all the time, which will drive them crazy. Why do you feel attracted to men? Is a good example. Specifically, the question that Heart gets asked all the time is this. Hey guys, Heart here. Today I would like to answer a comment question that I get asked regularly, and the question is, she says, I love women, and you guys are like, I don't understand. If you love women so much, how come you don't dress like one? Why are you dressing like something you don't like? I want you to guess what her response is. What does she say back to this? Can anyone guess? I'll tell you what she says. First of all, there's two parts to her question. She says, number one, I don't dress like anyone but myself. And number two, I love watermelon. And the question to your students is, what on earth does that have to do with the question that she was asked, or her answer. Students have got to guess it, just like the other one. They've got a watermelon dilemma. Why would that? What is the relevancy of that? Well, okay, Beatrice, you don't dress like a watermelon. You've got it in one. Let me show you. Here is Hart's video. Watch it, and then come back, and then we'll wrap up. Let me know when you're back. Watch the video I've just put into the chat and come back. Did you like that, Chris? I should say a star. Francis says she looks like your ex-husband. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some people might feel uncomfortable about using this video in the classroom, but I think this is fantastic material. For the classroom. There's a lot of good language in here, and the issues that this confronts are just excellent, I would say. And she's so cool, and she's so likable, and I think this would be a great activity for teenagers. So let's wrap up here. Who was it? I think somebody, Francis, asked me if there's a handout. Let me just go through a few things. The first thing you've got to know, some of you know about YouTube channels and YouTube cultures, and let me give you the most important link of all. I'm putting this link in the video here. This is the link of another wannabe YouTuber. If you click on this link, please. And this is the wannabe YouTuber here. And this is my YouTube channel. You can see that I've only got 479 subscribers. Nelly, you're doing much better than me. But it would make a wannabe YouTuber. I don't want to eat any chili peppers, but I'd be very happy if you would subscribe. It's very simple to subscribe. All you do is you click on the subscribe button there. And if you're on a computer rather than a mobile device, you can then, on the second part, you can click on that little tool, click on the send me notifications for every time I upload a YouTube video. It will go to your YouTube. It will go to your email, I should say. So if you were to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'd make a 43-year-old teenager very happy. Chris has already subscribed. You're a star, Chris. It's taken me years to consolidate my YouTube channels and decide to actually do it proper in Nelly. I've had a channel since 2007, but I never ever did anything with it. I had about 4 channels and never did anything with them, so I've really just recently started this. The second thing is, this is a book that I'm writing called Video Telling. I'm going to be talking about a lot of these issues in this book. I've been writing this book for quite a long time, and I've only just realized that self-publishing is a very difficult thing to do. I'm now going with an agency. They're going to be quite expensive. The agency are taking me all the way through the writing process. They're going to edit it, they're marketing it, positioning it in the market, concept, printing. They're doing everything. They're charging me £7,000. And in order to pay £7,000, I'm going to be launching a crowdfunding campaign in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if you know what crowdfunding is. Some of you will do. If you don't, crowdfunding campaigns, it's not looking for, I'm not asking you to contribute. Crowdfunding campaign is when I ask you basically to buy the book before it's ready. So if you buy the book before it's ready, I then get the money so that I can pay for it's the process of the editing and the production of it. So if you're interested in this crowdfunding campaign, please go to my website, Lesson Stream, and if you haven't done so already, you'll see that on the left-hand side there is a facility for you to subscribe to my newsletter. And as long as you've subscribed to my newsletter, I'll be making sure that all the information about this crowdfunding goes out to you. I've just put the link to create Lesson Stream there. If you look at Lesson Stream, you'll see that one of the activities there, do you see the one called Splat? That is the watermelon activity that we did with Gavin and Daniel. The 2 other activities we're doing will be going on Lesson Stream sometime within the next few weeks. In the meantime, if you're desperate for the links to those and you can't find them, or you want me to give you maybe a little basic synopsis of them, then feel free to drop me an email. My email is hello@jamiekeddie.com, and I'll send you the links. But the deal is, you've got to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right? Is that a good deal? Send me an email to hello@jamiekeddie.com, and I'll send you a very brief outline of the activities and the links that we've done. But the main full lesson plans will be going on Lesson Stream within the next few weeks. So just that very last plug. There's my YouTube channel. So just to say a big thank you very much to all of you for giving me an hour. Thank you very much to Nelly for the invitation to do this webinar, and thank you to the Young Learners and Teenagers SIG for putting on these webinars.